Weakness coming through following that MTN and Barty deal. We were also speaking off camera, and you mentioned that Tito Mbowene's comments may also have had some impact there. I mean, why would that be?
Very much. Yesterday, the currency was trading around 47. The announcement came through, and it's really a sentiment driver. And it's a fast money would have been positioning for a strong move in the rand, on an investment that size. So we've traded up through the 60 level, up at 68, as you've mentioned. We're not necessarily negative on the rand, but we do like it higher. Below 820, we're really just trading in the wider range. But that said, Tito Mbowene mentioned a few things about dollar rand. He said they've built reserves significantly, which tells us that they've either sterilized a large dollar inflow and they've taken it up, or they've been actively buying dollars in the market. Short-term players, international players hearing this kind of news won't want to stand up against that flow. So big news flow and big real demand for dollars against rand is enough to drive dollar rand higher.
Of course, we know that the rand had been trading around 740 against the dollar for the past couple of weeks and really anticipating those inflows from the Barty deal. And do you think at current levels that's now priced out of the markets, or do you think we could have further weakness?
We struggled at 738. The market tried a few times to get through, and it was really just this Barty announcement that's freed up the currency, to perhaps test up at 820. So we'd like to see the rand firmer. There's a number of catalysts. I guess the Dow's been quite important in the rand really up to now. It looks like it wants to trade lower. There was good numbers out of the States today, good housing start numbers. I think they came out at roughly 6%, which was significantly higher than expected, and the Dow's failed to rally. So it's hard to see how we're going to see further gains from the Dow. And the rand has had a strong correlation. We don't necessarily feel that if the Dow had to break the 9,400 level, let's say, and head back to 9,000, that the rand is going to be punished unnecessarily. We feel that offshore investors could take advantage of this carry opportunity to get involved again.
Just looking at the SARB activity in the market, and we have heard the finance minister and the governor of the Reserve Bank talking about it previously, and they didn't indicate that they would go into the markets and buy up dollars. Do you think it's more likely that they have sterilized dollar inflows into the country?
It would seem so. He said it was we should expect a significant increase in the reserves. If they'd been actively buying that amount of dollars in the market, it would have been, someone would have been talking about it. So our feeling is that they sterilized a flow. He did say that the traders at the central bank would be mopping up in the market. So I think we can expect to see them active. He did mention too that the stronger rand hadn't helped the economy, hadn't helped the export sector, and talking the rand weaker didn't help either. So sometimes you've got to put your money where your mouth is, and
What sort of reaction did we get from the interest rate markets to the MTN Barty deal yesterday? I see bonds are slightly weaker this evening as well. I mean, did we have weakness coming through from yesterday?
Quite interestingly, after the MPC announcement last week, we've seen good paying interest in the derivative space and the interest rate side. So the bond market would have been sold off quite aggressively. This is really end of cycle trading action, and if the MTN Barty deal had gone through and they had to do cross-currency swaps, they would have had to also go and, let's say, buy derivatives or sell bonds. And with the announcement of it not going further, we have retraced somewhat, but not all the way to where we were after MPC meeting.
Any indications of another interest rate cut by looking at the bond markets, or are we actually looking at interest rate increases at this stage? Yes,
a very good point. The curve is flat out for the next year, and we've started pricing in interest rate hikes, let's say of 100 basis points or more in the year thereafter. Whether that materializes, I think it's very sentiment driven on the level of the currency. That's going to affect inflation, it's going to affect growth, and you need low interest rates to probably stimulate growth. So I think for now our bias is sideways, with the outside chance of maybe another 50-point cut, depending on the outlook for growth in the currency.
Of course, we had that private sector credit extension data yesterday, which shows there really is not much demand for credits in the markets. Do you think that would strengthen the case perhaps for an interest rate cut?
Well, definitely so. You need to see the consumer confidence returning to the market, the consumer spending. and you need to see banks lending to consumers. And with those, with the loans, the loan advance numbers we saw, it's not happening. So these PMI numbers are great. It could be a result of 2010 and government spending, but we need to see the consumer confidently spending money.
Just finally, your view on the rand from 768, where to next?
76, a small hurdle. It's at 85.90 level that we really need to get through. If we can break through there, we'll get up to 820. But I think as long as we're below 820, there's no need for panic. And we expect that we'll see, some kind of foreign carry trade into that weakness.